Hey everyone, it's Dee. How are you? Welcome back and welcome to my channel if you're new. I hope you're all well. I've been doing good. I've been a lot of projects going and I wanted to do a project with you. I was inspired by this photograph that I took. These are wildflowers that I took on my walks when I walked during the spring, summer, and the fall. And I love any kind of cone flowers here, like how they stick up. Black-eyed Susans are my favorite. And I snapped these while I was walking along on my little route. And I was kind of like paging through my phone and I saw these pictures and I said, well, I don't know, like it just struck me, like look at how these leaves are. Like, yeah, granted, it's nature, nothing is perfect, but like they're just so wonky, and I don't know, that just grabbed me. And then the way the photograph was taken, like you don't have any over here because of the way the flowers positioned, and you've got like longer ones here. I don't know, it just spoke to me. So this is my inspiration for the project that we're going to do today. And I also um, figured I could do like a color palette. So this is where we're going to start with the flowers. I picked my color palette and I have purple, kind of like a turquoisey blue, and then a yellow. Okay, so I have a piece of scrap here from a project, and what I would like to do is get my picture here. This flower here has a cone shape and it has all these wonky petals. Very big in the front, very short in the back, kind of medium on the side. And we're not going for realism here. I'm going to put this over here. You can't really see it, but we're going to just kind of, let's get that in the middle more. Just kind of draw the cone, right? And then I'm very whimsical, so I am just going to create some leaves here. However, they want to come out. The sides, they're going to be a little bit shorter. We're not going for perfection here. All right, not too hard at all. And then in the back here, we can do like here, there's these little little petals here and here. So we're going to just do a little petal in the back. We could put as many as we want because it's your picture. Okay, now what I would like to do is use my palette here, either my purple, yellow, blue. Let's see. I am going to do, how about we'll do a purple. Okay. And we'll just start out with a base color right here. Do it lightly so you can layer it darker in some areas. Let that water flow. Looks like a gumdrop. Okay. Let that dry, and then we're going to go back in with the same, can't see my palette here, I'm sorry. Nice bright colors, just using the purple, and I'm going to go in with a bit of a darker shade to it. You got to let the first layer dry so you can get a darker hue to it. It's usually darker at the bottom. And then I'm going to paint outside the lines. I want that to not be so right in the line. I want it out so it gives it a little bit of dimension. Okay. Let's do a little bit up here. All right. Now we're going to dry that. Okay, the next step is you want to get markers that are water resistant, waterproof. I use Artline. These are fantastic. Fantastic. I love them. I've got a 0.3 and a 0.6. I don't know if you could see that with the glare. And I am going to use my 0.6 because it's got a bit of a thicker head to it. And I'm just going to go in and dot, because if you look at our reference photo, it's got these little dots, right, in the cone. And then I'm just going to go around it wherever I think I want to do it, a little darker at the bottom, because everything is darker at the bottom. It gives it that shadow, your hue down there. All right. And then I'm going to take my 0.3 marker, kind of done with this for now, or watercolor palette. And I'm going to just trace the cone. And I'm going with a line straight across, but I want that lighter purple on the outside to show up, because I don't want it completely in the lines and it being flat. It's going to give you a hue down there. Okay, so when you're done with that, throw a little more dots in there. You can put as many as you want. And I am now going to take, well, actually, you know what? We still need the 0.3. Well, I mean, you can use whatever marker. I'm just referencing what I have. So now I'm going to trace my lines. Don't worry, you don't have to go right on the line. Like that one right there, I want that to be a little bit fatter. So you don't need to trace exactly what you did. It's just giving you a baseline to trace in black, because we're going to erase those lines with the pencil when we let this dry a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to do these. All right, and it should dry relatively quickly, but I usually hit it with a little heat so we know it's dry. And now we're going to take our eraser and we're going to just erase those pencil lines. Okay, not too hard to do. We're going to make a wonky cone flower here. Now, once that's done, you can either use, this is a Faber-Castell aqua pencil, which means it's water soluble. When you color with it, you hit it with water and it's going to blend and shade, and it's fantastic. This is a Stabilo All, which I would absolutely die without. And this is like ink. This is totally fantastic. There is no way I could survive without it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start lightly with this, or any kind of water soluble pencil. I mean, I'm just, again, referencing what I use. And then I'm just going to shade real light. You're going really light. Do not go like this, like really hard. I mean, you can, but you're just trying to get a very soft edge. See how light that is? It's I don't even know if it'll show up on camera. And we just go in, shade wherever you want to put your hues. Maybe up here, because that's going to be a little darker, like behind it. Maybe up here where the petals reach the core of the flower. And then I'm going to take a water brush that has water in it. And I'm just going to wet that, and it's going to give it a nice gray. It's pretty, if you go light, it's going to come out light. If you go darker, like if we go here and we do this, see how that comes out and blends, and it's a lot darker than here. So that's your preference, what you want to do. And see, now that was still on my tip. See how that came out darker? And then you could blend that out if you want. I'm just going to go in like that. Okay, now that's wet because you have water on it and you're using watercolor paper. And again, this is just a scrap that I had. Why waste it? It's going to dry that. Doesn't take long. And then I'm going to go in with my Stabilo. And this, you need to watch your pressure, because if you want to do it really dark, it's fantastic. If you want to do it light, it's fantastic, but depends on your shading and what you're looking for. So now I'm going to just go in. Oh, I'm using the wrong brush. I need this water brush. And you see how dark that comes out? Oh, it's just fantastic. Just fantastic. And we're just going to do the edges there. If you go outside the lines, that's perfectly fine too. Do not panic. Remember, you're using scrap paper and you're playing and you're doodling. It's whimsical. There isn't anything, this is not a work of art, you know, it's just having fun, and it's just experimenting. And I have come to my surprise that I love anything water soluble. I love working with it, and I never, I would, because I am a pastel pencil person. I love to draw with pencil. And I always did, even when I was a teenager. I used to do a lot of pencil drawings and never really worked too much with water soluble. I did a couple of watercolors, and that intrigued me, but never really stuck with it. But now it's all about watercolor and anything that I can distress, anything that I can blend. You know me, I love anything that's distressed. Okay, totally out of camera. I apologize. My camera is above me and I'm working on the table, so you got to kind of like keep looking up to see what you're doing. Okay, so now we have, now you can also pick up if there's too much black in there. You can pick that up, put some black in here, and make this a little bit darker if you want. And if you don't want it that dark, then stick with a lighter pencil that's water soluble. We're going to make that a little darker down there. Okay. And if the paper is wet and you put your pencil, either one of them, on there, it will give you a much darker look, shade. Okay, next step is we're going to fussy cut it. Okay, So now we have our darling little purple flower. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create more. Like I've drawn more here. This is another scrap piece of paper I had. And I'm going to go and I'm going to paint them and I'm going to do these little flowers. And yes, I'm going to fussy cut them because you know me. I like doing all that detail work. And then I will come back and I will show you what I did. Okay, so here are my flowers. I did purple, I did blue, yellow. I made some smaller. I made, like this one here doesn't have any petals on the back of it. It's just more of a frontal view, not giving it so much dimension. And I have to cut this one out. Here's another purple one. That one I did with you. And then this one's more of a side view. And I tried to stagger them in sizes. And then we're going to create a journal page with this. I have something that I've drawn. I'm going to do that off camera because that, again, I usually do things like that off camera and paint it because it depends on how long it takes me. And then we're going to incorporate that. Okay, so I have my composition notebook. This is the notebook that we've been working in. And I'm going to start on this right side here. I have a scrap piece of paper that I use this little corner for something. And I like how it's distressed. It gives just a very vintagey, distressed look. So I think what I'm going to do is, which actually it's weird because it lines up almost directly to the top of this page. So I am going to cut that off. Make my mark here and here. And then I'm going to cut that so that'll fit onto my composition notebook page. Okay, so here we go. And that's going to fit right on there. So I just needed that for measurement. Now what I'm going to do is take my paper and then we're going to use a stencil. This stencil is by the Crafters Workshop and it's called Branches Reversed. And come to find out, I do not have any stencils that's grass. Anything that's like, I have leaves and I have different vines and stuff, but I didn't have any grass. So I'm going to make this into grass for the background. Already it's nice and distressed. It's got all that vintagey look to it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start layering using this one stencil. I guess I'll start from the top here. I don't really have to do it that way because that basically is the top, but for me it works out. So what I'm going to do is take some ink and I'm going to start with a light green and I'm just going to really lightly, I don't want anything too, I mean some areas might be a little darker than others, but I'm just going to go in and stencil with this color. Okay, so here's a nice little light base that I have. And, you know, now that I'm looking at it and I took that off, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with a little bit of brown because I want it to look very, like, you know, in the woods, nature, in like a little grassy area. And I'm not going to do too much with the brown, just enough to give it a bit of a highlight. Okay, so that gave it a little bit of a darker hue to it, not too much. And then what I want to do, because I don't want this to look like branches, I want it to look like different formations of grass blades. So I'm just going to start layering it now. Now I'm just going to place it, give it placement in different areas, and just start layering over the other images that came out. So see what that looks like. Okay, so here is my grass, but yes, I could see grass and branches in it, and that's kind of like what I'm looking for, because we're going to be doing a nature theme here, and as long as it looks outdoorsy, that's what I'm going for. Okay, so I have my scraps here. I came across some that I thought that might incorporate well into here from what I talked about earlier, and I think what I'm going to do is, I like, again, how this is all distressed scraps of paper that I used from a project this summer, and I'm just going to take a pencil here, and I'm just going to, you can even cut it, I'm just giving myself a guideline here, and I'm going to draw like a wonky little, two wonky lines here, and I'm going to make this into stems, because we made our flower, and flowers all have stems, right? Make that a little bit thinner. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the rest of them out. Okay, I've got my stems. And you know what's ironic? The color of this paper, I did not purposely match up with my inks, but so it worked out. So I was like, cool. So we're going to do that for now. Now, I drew a little fairy, and here she's one of my creations. I thought that she would look cute because she's in the forest. She's in like a little thicket of maybe some branches and flowers, and she's tiny, so I want her, because fairies are tiny, I want her to be more towards the bottom. And I did not mean for her dress to match the green in here, but my brain was in green mode, I guess. And what I'm going to do is I drew this flower here, and I fussy cut her. She's all hand drawn, hand painted. And then I don't know if you can see that, but I put some glitter on her wings because she is a fairy and they need glitter. And I did not color in the flower purposely because I thought it would be really cute for me to use. Have to find it. I have all the flowers here that I told you I would be back after I cut them out and painted them. And so I'm looking for the one that we created together, which is this one right here. And I figured I could just cover that flower up and use the flower we used, because she is in a field of wildflowers. And I thought, how cute would that be? And now I'm just gonna try to place where I think some of these flowers should go. We're going to have little ones. Let's see if we can put some little ones in the back. Yeah, I like it up front. So we'll put the little ones up front, which is kind of what I was going for originally. And put a yellow one here. And then we have, let's see, we can do one up here. And I may not use all of my flowers, but let's find out. There's a purple one. Let's see, we'll stick the purple one over here. Do a yellow one here. We've got some blue ones. Kind of stagger them. And let's see, we need a stem for this one right here. Put that one up there. And we're kind of just gonna paper piece this together. I think that's too thick. This one here. This one here. Or perhaps we can put a purple one there. Okay, I'm going to play around with where I want to locate and place, do a placement here with these flowers, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my placement with my flowers. I have my fairy down. Here is the flower that we did together. And I think I'm gonna title this Among the Flowers. She's a little fairy in a forest, which is why I kind of made that background look like grass, and it does have that look of branches in it, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. I think I'm going to doodle around the edges here because we have all this black that I have used, and I need to pop that. And again, very wonky. I want to do some wonky edges. I'm going to distress the edges too, probably with a little bit of brown, and that'll help pop some of that brown in there. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. I adhered all of the items, all the flowers and stems and the fairy, and I decided to do some journaling. And I had a piece of paper that was just a piece of scrap paper right here. I liked it because it had this flush edge to it, and I thought that would fit perfectly in this empty spot I had up here. So I just used that piece of scrap paper. I journaled, what will you find among the flowers? Because I'm naming this Among the Flowers, and I thought that was fitting. And then I took a piece of scrap paper and I just cut out some leaves, the shape of a leaf. I didn't draw it, I didn't do anything, just cut it out. And inside each leaf I journaled, this one here is hope, dream, magic, joy, and love. Then on the outside I took my black pen and I did some scribble lines to make a border in black to pull the black out in the flowers, and then of course with the journaling. And then I also did the distressing ink like I discussed in brown, and a little bit of black on the edge to kind of bring in more of that brown. And that is my Among the Flowers fairy art journal page, and it's going to go in my book here. I'm just going to lay this down and glue it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you're new, please subscribe, and I will talk to all of you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.